Yeah, I'm a designer, and I do a lot of things that have architectural components. We do storefronts and a lot of color consulting on buildings and things of that nature. It's one of the things that led me to an interest to historical buildings was doing the research I needed to restore a storefront. From the earliest one I did, I think, was in like '79 or something. And I had to look at what that building looked like in the past, and it took a little research. I had to go to the library and look things up. And so I started collecting photographs, and that's what led to my collection. Everybody thinks I have a great collection, and it is kind of random, and it isn't terribly organized, but it's become very useful for me because it has it relates project by project to the kind of work I've done. And so this image on the screen right now shows a view of San Luis Obispo taken from Terrace Hill, which is just across town over here by the railroad station. And here's 1885. Of course, it's black and white. And one of the things you see here is it's fairly sparse. There's a lot of open fields, and there's some small houses, mostly wooden structures. And then here's today. And the big difference here, the landscape, of course, is about the same, but the big difference is we've created an urban forest. This is things like street trees and people's yards and whatnot. But if you really look at the difference, there's hardly any trees here, and there's a lot of trees here. And if you were to look around the area, you'd see eucalyptus trees, for instance, up on the mountainsides that weren't there before. So it's changed the mass of the hills even, visually. It's kind of a neat thing. So what I've done with a lot of these photographs is there's an early aerial view taken from a balloon, of course. They didn't have airplanes in 1905, I believe it was. And this has been a useful picture because it shows me where certain buildings were at the time. And sometimes you'll see a photograph and you don't know where it is, and it's long gone, the building's torn down, but this could be a reference of where things used to be. Here you have a picture of a building that is right here across the street. And as you can see, it doesn't, or maybe you can't see in the camera, but it's been covered with stucco and modernized. And this is how it looked when it was originally built. It was a small building, now it's bigger. There was an addition add to it. Here's what it looked like with the tower lopped off of it. All that upper stuff was taken off. And this is a fairly early picture too. This is again about 1905, 1906. And this building across the street here looks a lot different because it was modernized. It was actually had a floor added to it back in the 20s. And this is where we're sitting right now. We're just, this window here is that window right there. That's where we're sitting today. So this street has changed quite a bit. And you can see there's telephone poles. Of course, there's none of those today. They've undergrounded all that sort of thing. Here's another picture of it in the 20s. So this is what I find interesting is to be able to look at this and then look at the reality and say, now what is good about this that we could do here? Here's a picture of a building that was just about a block away down here, and it was modernized. It was like some sort of a salon or something, and it had like a 1960s entry. And then this is a photograph that I found on a wall in a coffee shop, actually, and it took me a while to figure out where it was, but I realized that that was that building. So this is brick. This is Christmas, probably turn of the century, and here's Santa, and he's sitting in a Model T, and he's handing out candy bars to the kids, or cinnamon sticks. And here's what we wound up doing. We pulled all the plaster off the building. We found that the transom opening was there. And then at the end, we started putting this stuff back on. All the original detailing has been reconstructed. Now, this isn't brick anymore. It's high-density foam for the weight and the seismic concerns. And here it is finished. So this is how it looks now. That's essentially what it looked like at the time. And we're really proud of that sort of thing, and that's happened to a handful of buildings around downtown, and the one across the street, for instance, has been redone. I think it creates a warmth in the downtown. You know, it's really a nice way to bring back the charm that downtown had at one time.